President Trump is expected to direct his Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon, to dissolve the U.S. Department of Education. Now, Republicans seem torn on just how far to go, but two Republicans are speaking out against the plan.
Do you support the idea of getting rid of the Department of Education?
No, I think that the Department of Education actually has some functions that we think are important.
I believe it could be downsized and that it has grown too bureaucratic and too big. The decision on whether to abolish the department is one that only Congress can make.
Joining me now is Arne Duncan, who served as Secretary of Education under President Barack Obama. Honestly, this is, Arne, I mean, it's not the first time, right, that this idea has been kicked around. Ever since the department was created under President Carter, every Republican president, people who have ran for office in the House and Senate have talked about abolishing the Department of Education. But this feels different. What are you hearing about this particular effort?
Well, it is different. This is not left versus right or D versus R. Trump is an anomaly. We have never seen a president like him. In fact, I can go through a number of Republican presidents historically, starting with Abraham Lincoln, who created land-grant universities, who invested in education and saw it as in our national interest. President Eisenhower created the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare. President Nixon, lots of challenges with President Nixon, but guess what he signed into legislation? Pell Grants that have been transformational. President Ford, IDEA, the chance for children with special needs to have a free and fair access to a public education. So education should be the ultimate bipartisan or nonpartisan issue. There's nothing political about teaching our babies to read and raising high school graduation rates and having more young people have a chance to go to college. What Trump is doing is unprecedented in the history of our nation. And I want your listeners, your viewers to understand that.
You know, the current Secretary of Education, on her first day, or her first official day, which was Monday, she sent a message to employees of the Department of Education, and it said, the elimination of bureaucracy should free us, not limit us in our pursuit of these goals. I want to invite all employees to join us in this historic final mission. I think it's really important to the point that one of the Republican senators made, that Congress only has the ability to abolish a department, to get rid of it. So let's just put that on the table. But the reality is what I think the Trump administration is going to do is what we've seen them do to USAID, right? What they've attempted to do to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. They're just going to hollow it out to the point where they fired all these people and the department cannot carry out its goals, which essentially is bringing it to a halt. What are the ramifications of that? This isn't just some D.C. thing. This is going to affect people all over the country.
So the real fair question is, what does the Department of Education actually do? And let me sort of walk through it, a couple of things the department does. Basically, what it does is add additional resources to help vulnerable children, vulnerable students. So whether it's access to pre-K for our babies, our 3- and 4-year-olds, so they can enter kindergarten ready to be successful academically and socially. Puts a lot of money behind children who live below the poverty line, who need more resources. I talked about IDEA, 7.5 million children across the country with special needs who need additional supports. Our rural children who need more help. And I mentioned earlier, obviously, Pell Grants, billions of dollars to help many first-generation college goers have a chance to go. So that's what the Department of Education does. It provides additional resources to the most vulnerable children across the country, their best chance to build a positive future, their best chance to enter the middle classes, to have a high-quality public education. And if he does anything to try and hurt those families, hurt those vulnerable children, that will be just educationally and morally bankrupt.
The states are saying that they are not ready for the Department of Education to be dismantled. There's NBC News reporting where they're literally saying they are not prepared. State lawmakers, they have made clear that there are just few plans underway. And then you've got the funding uncertainty that has hit colleges very hard. There's federal funding that is at risk here, and the universities are scrambling to curtail costs. Some are freezing hiring. They're admitting fewer graduate students. This is dire. All of that is happening in anticipation of what may come. And then you've got this at Georgetown. The D.C. U.S. Attorney tells Georgetown he won't hire from any school with quote-unquote DEI. I'm going to read from the reporting. Interim D.C. U.S. Attorney Ed Martin demanded that the dean of Georgetown Law School end all diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts in the school. What is happening here?
Well, there's so much here, but what Trump does is he just tries to weaponize education. Again, I said education should be the ultimate bipartisan, nonpartisan issue. So you take any three-letter acronym, whether it's DEI, whether it's SEL, whether it's CRT, he weaponizes that to create fear. And we have a real challenge educationally in our country. You saw the NAEP results that came out. Reading scores are not where we want them to be. Where we should all be uniting behind is to help our children catch up, help them learn to read faster, better. There's not a single thing, not one word Trump has uttered yet that has anything to do with teaching another child how to read. And this is where he's obviously just so dishonest and disingenuous. He talks about returning education to the states. Well, as you know, 90% of the funding for K-12 education already comes at the state and local level. So guess what? Congratulations, mission accomplished. That's already happened. What the federal government does is, again, supplement those resources for our most vulnerable children. So there's nothing in here that helps children, have better educational opportunities, nothing that helps them learn how to read. This is all about weaponizing and politicizing education. And let me say, you can lie to parents and lie to people about a lot of things, but if you start to mess with their babies, you start to mess with their children and children who are struggling, you wake up Mama and Papa Bear, and he could have something coming at him that he's not prepared to deal with.